Welcome to Heavy Petting with Cheri Hardman. Today's guest is Maelstrom Pullman. How are you today?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you very much. How are you?
Good. Why don't you introduce me to your friend there?
All right, so this is Lyanna.
Hi,
She is,
Lyanna.
she is very sweet and pretty. I've got her in her harness to kind of keep her a little bit calm. She gets a little overwhelmed with touch, so at some point she'll probably take off.
How old is she?
She is 3. She is just the sweetest thing. She doesn't scratch. She yells a lot, so we spend a lot of time yelling things at each other. I've got her, I get a new cat about every 10 years. So yeah, a friend of mine had a friend with kittens, and I ended up getting the prettiest one out of the lot. And yeah, we hang out all the time.
My cat wouldn't, well, yeah, I guess my cat would. Most cats wouldn't let you just hold them like that. I can't tell if what color she is where she's not white.
Okay. She's a flame tip Siamese. So her colors are white and orange, and you can see it in the ears really well.
Yeah, and that's why she talks a lot.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where the eyeballs come from that I love so much. I post pictures about her on social media all the time.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I have a Siamese cat too. I've always had Siamese. I love them. They're their own personality, They are.
Yes. Yeah, we do pretty good together. I drove here from Boise, Idaho last May, and she yelled the entire 8-hour drive. She never stopped, which was good because I only had 2 hours of sleep and I needed the help.
Kept you awake, huh? Where'd you do? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, we got the harness and this sweatshirt, which you can't really see, but it's got a pocket for a cat.
Oh.
A friend of mine got it for me and sent it to me so that we could go places, but she freaks out around cars, so we mostly just walk around the apartment complex.
But she'll let you put her in there?
Well, that's where she was when we showed up, but she was getting a little irritated because she likes affection under her terms. We sleep together at night. So, but she waits until I pass out, and then she comes and finds a spot where she's comfortable. So occasionally I roll over on her, and if I didn't have my roommate, I wouldn't even necessarily know that she's there every time I sleep. So she's one of those cats, like, her form of affection is to sit close. So, you need to be put down, baby. Okay.
She's very pretty, very, very pretty.
Yeah, and she's a real big sweetie. She's got her own fan base, kind of.
And what did you say her name was?
Lyanna. I actually named her after the little angry girl on Game of Thrones.
Oh.
And she doesn't have the same personality at all.
Her ears are going back a little bit right now, a little bit. Go ahead.
Normally I respect her space more than this, but...
You got to show her off right now, I get it. So if she could write a review for you as an owner, what do you think she would say?
She thinks I touch her too much. She would complain that I don't feed her right away, but we have a very set feeding schedule. I feed her when I get up and when I go to bed. And when I go to bed, it should be the trigger for that. But sometimes, she can see the bottom of her dish, so she does not. I definitely get 3 stars on the food because I don't cater enough. But I buy her expensive cat food and a bunch of other stuff that she doesn't know. She's only like 5 pounds, 6 pounds, and she doesn't eat hardly anything. So I can buy expensive stuff and it doesn't really hit the pocketbook because she just nibbles. And she'll ask for things, she'll come up and taste stuff, but I literally, even since she was a kitten, I would just dip something in my finger and she'd taste it and that's all she wants. So in a lot of ways, she's the perfect cat for me. She's, not too needy. She's one of the helpers. So if you're doing a thing, she'll come and check it out. Which, luckily she talks a lot, so she doesn't get stepped on very often. Usually when I come home, she yells at me for leaving, and then we just meow at each other, and then she'll yell at me if I even, do anything that she has an opinion about, which is a lot.
Well, she's very sweet. All right, she can go do whatever she wants now if she wants to get down.
Oh, no, she wants to get down.
I figured. Because now we're going to talk to you now. Bye. Bye, kitty kitty.
she'll want me to take that off soon. Yeah, I'm just nervous. I lost my last cat, Domino, because we lived in a suburban area, and he was trapped by a nice old lady who had bird feeders in her yard, and he was a hunter. He would snag birds out of the air all the time, which, was kind of cool, but also like, wow, man. So she trapped him, and we think, whatever. She disposed of him somehow. And then it took me a long time. Like, I think I didn't get her until 3 years ago. So she's 3 this year. And she's just been my little buddy since then. There's lots of photos of us hanging out when she's just a baby kitty, and she's super cute. And luckily, she ended up being photogenic for social media reasons.
Oh, yeah, good, yeah. So now we're going to switch gears and see if you have any interesting stories to tell about heavy petting of the human variety. Now, I have to do this every time because I did so many episodes before I realized that a lot of people that are not my age didn't know what heavy petting was. I was probably about 15 episodes in before, so I just always like to explain. Heavy petting is any kind of physical encounter, except for not going all the way. So any kind of dating story, making out, sex, anything that you want to tell me in that realm would be lovely.
Okay.
All right.
Well, okay. To begin with, I am celibate 1 year today. Not today, a couple days ago. I moved to Seattle a year ago, and I went through a heartbreak not long after. So I tend to, at those points, take some time off, find myself. I'm not sexually motivated like I used to be when I was younger, and it's very easy to chill out. So this is the year Obama got elected. I am hanging out at a restaurant all the time, and I have been celibate for almost 2 years. The 2-year anniversary is coming up. Meanwhile, I work at this restaurant, and I have a work wife. I always have a work wife. We have a lot of fun. We play, it adds things to the experience. You have someone that you always look forward to seeing, and, you bitch at each other. We would have Fat Kid Day, where we bring in snacks and try to, eat as much as we could. She hated the fact that I was about to hit 2 years celibate. She thought it was wrong. She thought it was something that I should never do. And she tried over and over again to talk me out of it. And we would, I would explain yeah, but, I'm not going to date just to have sex, and I'm not ready to see anybody. And at this point, it's just kind of cool to get to 2 years celibate when I was such a whore for so long. And I mean that in both the money way and the free way. I'm definitely sex positive. I don't really care. And she's like, all right, cool, whatever. So one day, she invites me out for karaoke. Now, I like to sing. I'm a decent singer. It's what I did before I found comedy. Is I was a karaoke slut. I would go out 7 days a week. So I have all these standbys and baritone-friendly songs. And we go out there and we start drinking. I love tequila. She starts feeding me shots. And we had a little bit of a low-key flirtation. Obviously, we were attracted to each other. She was short and curvy, kind of had this rockabilly look with these big pouty lips that I was super into.
Yeah.
All right, so we're out karaoke. We're having a good time. She's feeding me all of these shots. And it's just a lot. She's super cute. She's dressed super cute. And but I kind of normally have rules about sleeping with coworkers because I did it 6 or 7 times, and it just doesn't really work out. So at some point, and she's really good at this, mind you. I didn't see this coming at all, and I rarely get blindsided. She waits until right at that perfect moment between when I'm just drunk enough to be talked into stuff, but still able to do things. And she walks up to me, gets really close, and very directly says, "We should go back to your place and have sex right now," which has a 100% success rate against me. And I was like, you know what, you're right, because instead of engaging all the silly things we had about celibacy, because it doesn't really matter, it's just a thing, I was like, yeah, it actually does sound like fun. And I've got I was 28, I have a really high sex drive. So I'm just, I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do it. So we go back to my place. I live with drug dealers. They also wait tables, which is how we met, but they're sitting on a couch with a 3-foot bong that has it percolates 16 times. we're in Boise, Idaho, and that's really all they do all day is they just sit in there, and then people come by. We live right by the college. People come by and buy stuff all the time. So I come home for the first and only time with this really gorgeous, curvaceous brunette who's just, we're glowing, we're giggling, obviously what we're up to. And so I'm like, excuse me, gentlemen, they are already super stoned. And we go into the bedroom. Now, my bed is here. The couch is here. And she is super loud. So, for the first funny part of this story, we have sex a lot. I don't know how many times, I wasn't keeping track, but the amusing part was, after every session, we would go out for a cigarette break, and we would become more and more disheveled. And my stone roommates would look at me with this bigger face, like, what is happening right now? Mikey, of all people, which was my name at the time, is doing all this stuff. So at the last time we came out, she just didn't even bother putting a shirt on. She's like, oh yeah, they've been listening to me have sex for like 2 hours right now. It's whatever. Which to me was actually super cool because like, hey, it's your body and I don't care. So I had a reputation with those college age kids for the rest of my life, despite not deserving it. Like that was just a thing that happened. I don't know, whatever. So I was her plaything for a while. And a few months later, she started seeing this other guy. Nice guy, whatever. They didn't really have a time to like consummate their relationship before he had to go back out on the road again. So they got to know each other through text and stuff. And when he was out of town, her and I would still see each other. She has needs and whatever. I'm super low-key and casual. Well, he comes home and we talk beforehand. And she's like, look, while he's in town, maybe let's not. And I go, yeah, that's great. Like, I'm not, whatever. We're friends. I expect this to end like literally any day. So I'm just hanging out at my house one night and she calls me on my cell phone and she goes, okay, you need to come fix this. And I'm like, what is it? And she says, will you ever hear that phrase, two pump chump? And I go, yeah. She goes, he's a pump and a half. And so I go, oh, damn. Yeah, okay. So the next week, he's still in town. We haven't seen each other. We go out to, oh, see, look who came back. Meow. Do you interrupt the story? Do you want me to take this off too? All right, so, sweet baby, yes. So we go out to karaoke, all four of us with friends. Now we're in one of those dive bars that's named after the street it's on. So you know it's great. The drinks are strong, they're cheap, and Boise drinks are really cheap, but it's really cheap. And they've got karaoke 7 days a week. It's called the Overland Bar for anyone in Boise that gets to see it. And it's one of those bars where you walk in, and it's a very short L, where you've got the 2 bathroom doors, and then it's just a long bar with a small stage. That's the whole bar. There's nothing else, nothing extraneous. So we're sitting there, and we sing karaoke all night long, which, you know, you do. So last call hits. I close out first because I'm not a rookie and I don't like to wait for everyone else.
Right.
You know, one of the advantages of being older is I've been doing this longer and it's like, yeah. So I'm just hanging out when she walks up, grabs me by the hand and drags me into the bathroom for exactly what you think she's dragging me into the bathroom for. And I do nothing to stop it because this has never happened to me before either. And what are you, crazy? Of course I'm going to do this. Now, it is in my mind that her boyfriend is less than 15 feet away from us.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we're being super trashy. I don't like to pretend that I'm a good person at all, and I definitely wasn't then. But also, not my boyfriend. Like, I know that sounds really mean, but I don't cheat. And if the people I'm with are cheating, I've tried to get better at that now that I'm in my 40s, but when I was in my 20s, I didn't try to talk myself out of it because, you know, whatever, right? Also, life's short and you only get to have sex with beautiful people for so long in your life before you really have to care about personality and stability and all those other important things. So it's like every other quickie in the bathroom. There are girls pounding on the door, though, because the bar is closed. And we need to, like, you know, let people through. We don't finish or anything like that. It was hot for a second. I feel now that she was just jump-starting her engine for activities with the boyfriend later, which actually is a pretty smart thing to do. And that's when the owner comes to the door and starts pounding on the door. Now, the owner of this bar is, of course, this old battle axe of a woman that I absolutely love these personality types. She's seen it all. She owns a dive bar. She pours cheap drinks all night. And of course, she knows what we're doing in there. Young couples in the bathroom together. The timing was weird, sure. So she starts pounding on the door. And of course, we throw all our things on. You know, I've got my jeans pulled up. I got my belt around my neck and all that other stuff. We go out there. And of course, I code switch. Now, it doesn't take very long for me to actually bring out like a gayer voice. And a lot of times when I'm with somebody, they like to introduce me as their gay friend. So when I'm in, like, you know, because she's cheating, no guy thinks this voice is having sex with his girlfriend. And this is actually my natural voice a lot of the time. The baritone is more of who I am on stage or when I get interviewed because the baritone has legs. But like if you're up here, this is where I'm excitable and I'm having fun. So I switch back into that personality. I just apologize. We come up with a lie. We're both wearing a jeans and t-shirt. And she says, I was helping her fix her wardrobe. And we walk outside. Her boyfriend is waiting for us outside. Of course, in his innocent mind, he's like, oh yeah, they're just closing out their tabs and using the bathroom. We say goodbye. And it's that moment that I realized that I still have my belt around the neck the whole time I was talking to the bar owner and this boyfriend. Yet neither one of them ever said a word about it at all.
That was a great story.
It was fun to do. Like, I know I'm a very passive voice in a lot of this, other than the fact that I'm just like, yeah, that sounds terrible, let's do it. But that's, you know, that's kind of how I still am.
And that's what being young is for, too.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, I got divorced twice in my 20s. My first wife and I were virgins. We got together, we got married 2 days after her 18th birthday. We were both super religious. My dad married us. He's a minister, but it was in our house, like, for real. I was a homeschooler. So I had sex like literally right before our wedding. You know, we were trying to save ourselves. We were together for like 3 years because of course we were before we were like, eh, whatever. And both of us had kind of sort of drifted away from our faith. But when you live your whole life as a super Christian and you feel like these are the things that are real, when you stop believing, there's nothing left. Like it takes a while to rebuild a worldview from, you know, because I would go on mission trips. I taught Bible studies. Like, you know,
wow, yeah.
I was super, like I was in church choir for 8 years. That's where all my singing chops comes from. So after that, I immediately went to hoe phase. Like I just flipped a switch. It was like, I'm 22, or 24, I'm divorced or whatever. I'm going to do whatever I want. So the next person I get together with is a sex worker. That's the person that I marry, not the next person I get together with. I dated a lot in those few times. We met on 9/11. And we didn't talk until I was doing chair massages. I was in massage therapy school. And she thought I was gay because I was making out with a man at the Christmas party, which, understandable. And in 2001, which is when we met, I can understand. It was a lot more understandable 20 years ago. Bisexuality wasn't like, you know, I mean, people barely accept it now. You could imagine.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, I found out I was bisexual because I was at an Olive Garden salad bar, and I met.
Hang on.
And I just had this moment.
Now wait a minute, because the audio went out there. I heard bisexual and Olive Garden, and that's all I got. So
okay, so I found out I was bisexual at an Olive Garden salad bar when I made eye contact with the busser, who was this really cute skater boy with actually a shaved head and a short beard. And he's just adorable, like filthy little boy. And he could have been like 22. I guess I was in my mid-20s. I was like about the same age. And nothing happened between him and I, but I had like, and this is not how it happens for everybody, but you spend your life repressed sexually. You have one marriage. And then I got a job waiting tables at Olive Garden, and I'm just open to experiences. The next girlfriend I have, she wanted to maintain her virginity, so we just used the back door and hot wax. I don't know how that maintains you for marriage, but that was my second sexual relationship. So I just accepted that. Like the same thing really kind of happened for me when I realized about the whole gender thing, and that just like, one day, you know, I realized, oh wait, I wear makeup and I have pigtails and I dress up in my girlfriend's clothing all the time, and that's fine. Boys can do those things, but like, it all came together the same way. Like I had some talk with my trans non-binary friends and they were like, hey, do you want to try on some pronouns in our chat? And like literally 10 minutes later, I just told all of the world in Facebook, and like, that's how it is.
That's great. Great. Yeah, I know, can tell you have stories for days. I can just tell that. Yeah. So what is the best compliment anyone's ever given your naked body?
Okay, I saw that you ask a lot of people this question, and I've been thinking about it. But to be honest, most of my partners are women, and I find ways to compliment the form of a woman without, just generic gorgeous. I find things that I really like why am I into this person in the first place? And there's ways to phrase that, especially if you're a writer, that, make them feel good about themselves. So there's this imbalance between me complimenting them and things they can say back. Because if somebody writes you a love letter or a sonnet, things I do, how do you come back with, yeah, your body's pretty? So I couldn't come up with a single instance anybody, it's not that it hasn't happened, but it was always in the face or the eyes. Because, as someone who was really fat for a long time, I used to be over 100 pounds heavier, and I was fat shamed by partners, and I was treated really poorly. And you, of course, probably can relate to this. When you have a new sexual partner and you have that kind of body baggage going around, you search in their eyes when they first see you for any sort of click or judgment. I don't know if it's voluntary, but I looked for it. And to me, the greatest compliment, and it's been every person I've been with the last several years, it doesn't matter how many stretch marks. I joke about my body looks like a bag of mashed potatoes somebody dropped on the ground. And there's nothing. And the fact that the partners I have now are just not judgmental at all and just accept me for who I am, to me, that's been the best compliment I've ever received. But I can't remember anyone ever saying, which kind of sucks.
Somebody needs to come up with a really original, dynamic compliment for you next time you're naked.
Right. I will let them know. We'll have to watch this episode together first because, it's a great way to find out things about me.
All right. Did you have something to add?
I will literally never stop talking.
Okay. All right. So, do you have anything, it's kind of hard right now with everything pandemic-wise being weird. Do you have anything to promote or anything, a website or anything you'd like people to know about you, to follow you?
Okay, so I had started co-producing my first comedy show on Capitol Hill here in Seattle at a place called Vermilion. The show is called Saturday Sabotage, and it takes place on the first Saturday of every month when there's not a pandemic.
Okay.
So we will discuss safety for the audience. It's a very small space. But if you could, it would be great if you could go to Facebook and like the page, because at some point we are going to want to do that. And the show's great. Seattle is overloaded with amazing comics.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I'm looking forward to checking it out myself. It was lovely meeting you and your beautiful friend there. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Be safe and take care of yourself.
I will. Thank you. We'll see you around.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too.
What's on her mind? She's a big, big girl in a skinny woman's world. Now she's a big, big girl in a skinny woman's world. Now she's a big, big girl. Big, big girl.